So before I start today's video, I'm going to be coming back after I finish all of my highlighted parts. There are actually letters or little chapters or whatever you want to call them that I've highlighted, and I thought that those whole entire things are worthy of reading, and I'll be going over those later on. But today, Epictetus, the complete works, this is going to be part 16. What is it to do philosophy? Isn't it to prepare oneself for whatever happens? Don't you see then that what you're saying amounts to, it's out of my hands, whether or not I ever again prepare myself to calmly accept whatever happens? This is no different from someone giving up the pancreatium because he keeps being hit. In the pancreatium, it's possible to retire and avoid being pummeled. But in the case we're talking about, what will we gain if we retire from philosophy? So what should a philosopher say in the face of any harsh experience? This is what I've been training for. This is what I've been practicing for. God is saying to you, prove to me that you've not infringed the rules of the contest, that you've kept to your diet, carried out your exercises, obeyed your trainer, and then you shy away when it comes to actually doing something. Now, is that the time for fever? Be ill in the right way. For thirst, be thirsty in the right way. For hunger, be hungry in the right way. Isn't that up to you? Who can stop you? All right, a doctor can forbid you to drink, but he can't stop you being thirsty in the right way. He may not let you eat, but he can't stop you being hungry in the right way. But I'm not getting any studying done. But what do you study for, slave? Isn't it to find contentment and self-possession? Isn't so that you may be in accordance with nature and remain so? What's stopping you from having your command center in accord with nature when you have a fever? Just here is the proof of the matter, the test of a philosopher. Illness is a feature of life, just like going for a walk, making a voyage, or journey overland. A fever is no different. You don't read while you're walking, do you? No, nor do you read when you've got a fever. But if you go for a walk in the right way, you're fulfilling your role as a walker. If you're ill in the right way, you're fulfilling your role as someone with a fever. What is it to have fever in the right way? To have it without blaming God or man, without being negative about the experience. To await death well in the right way, and to do what you're told. When the doctor pays you a visit, don't be afraid of what he might say, and don't be overjoyed if he says, you're doing splendidly. After all, is there anything good for you in his saying that? And don't be depressed if he says, you're doing badly. After all, what is it to be in a bad way? It means that you're close to the separation of the soul from the body. What is there to fear in that? If you're not close now, you're going to be close later on, aren't you? Is the world going to come and end when you die? When do you flatter your doctor then? Why do you say, my recovery is in your hands, sir? Why do you give a chance to preen? Why not just pay him as he deserves, just as you pay a shoemaker as he deserves for tending to your foot, and a builder as he deserves for tending to your house? Why not also pay the doctor as he deserves for tending to your body, which isn't mine, which is essentially a corpse? This is the opportunity that someone with a fever has. If he seizes it, he's doing what he's supposed to do. The point is that it isn't a philosopher's job to keep externals safe. Not his little sock or wine or oil. Not his body either. What then? His command center. What should his attitude be toward other things? Merely to make sure that he doesn't act thoughtlessly where they're concerned. In that case, is there any occasion for fear or anger? Can there be any occasion for fear with regard to things that are no concern to you, things that are worthless? So there are two principles that we should have at hand, that apart from will, nothing is either good or bad, and that we ought not to try to steer events, but follow their lead. My brother shouldn't have treated me as he did. No, he shouldn't. But that's his concern. My job, however he treats me, is to behave towards him as I ought. That's up to me, and the rest is no concern of mine. No one can stop me from doing this, but everything else is liable to impediment. Certain punishments have ordained, as it were by law, for those who refuse to accept the divine dispensation. Whoever shall regard as good anything other than what is subject to his will shall suffer from envy and unfulfillment, longing, being a flatterer, and have no peace of mind. Whoever shall regard as bad anything other than what is subject to will shall feel distress, grief, sorrow, and misery. And yet, despite the harshment of these punishments, we're incapable of desisting. Stranger, it isn't right for me to dishonor any stranger, even if one more despicable than you should arrive, for all strangers and beggars come from Zeus. We should have this thought at hand for application to fathers as well. It isn't right for me to dishonor a father, even one more despicable than you, for all fathers come from Zeus, the protector of parents. The same goes for a brother too, for all come from Zeus, the protector of families. And the same goes for all other relationships as well. We'll find that Zeus is still their custodian. Nevertheless, one skill set should also include this: the ability to be self-sufficient, to live with oneself, just as Zeus lives peaceably with and by himself, reflecting on the quality of governance and occupying himself with thoughts that are proper to himself. So he should have the ability to converse with ourselves, to be self-reliant and not be hopeless. We should reflect on the divine disposition and the nature of our relationships with all other objects. We should consider what our attitude used to be towards our experiences and what it is now. What are the things that still oppress us? How can they be remediated or eliminated? If we need to work on any of them, we should do so as prescribed by our reason. No, in short, we can't give us peace from any of these things, but philosophical teachings promise to provide us with peace, even from these things. What do they say? If you pay attention to me, people, then wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you won't get distressed or angry. You'll be unconstrained, unimpeded, and you won't be disturbed by passion, and you'll live a completely trouble-free life. As a philosopher, you have to go without sleep, work hard, master your appetites, withdraw from friends and family. You'll find yourself sneered at by slaves, mocked by everyone you meet, and inferior in everything, in honor, in political power, and in the courts. Once you've taken all this into consideration, take up philosophy if you think it's right for you. If you want to exchange these external things for equanimity, freedom, and peace of mind. And if you don't, steer clear of philosophy. Don't act as children do and be a philosopher today, a tax collector tomorrow, then an orator, and then an imperial prosecutor. These things don't fit well together. You must be one person, whether good or bad. You have to choose between cultivating your command center or the outside world, between working at inner things or outer things, or in other words, between taking a stance as a philosopher or as a man of the world. I think that's a good point to stop for this video.